Hello students, welcome to Shunya IAS. So today we are here in the third discussion video of number system. As I told you in the part 1 that since number system is a very important and a very long topic, so one video or even two videos will not be sufficient. So now we are having the third part of our discussion for number system, and I request you, if you have not seen the previous two videos, please go through them once before starting this particular video now. Here in this video we will be discussing about two important themes. The first theme will be divisibility and the second theme will be remainders. So we will be talking about in terms of these two values, right? Before starting further, let me just tell you about our very awesome online course supplemented by offline batches, where we cover the whole quant syllabus in a quite optimized manner in the best way possible in the whole market of UPSC. So we will move on to the questions now, and we will talk about the idea of divisibility first. So you might be aware of the divisibility criteria of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and let us take 10 also. Okay. So I am just giving about the idea of divisibility of these numbers. So if we talk about 2, what is the divisibility criteria of 2? That the last digit of that number should have an even number in the ending, that is, it should end with either 0 or 2, 4, 6 or 8, right? That is the divisibility criteria of 2. For 3 we have the criteria of that sum of all the digits should be divisible by 3. So sum of digits is equal to divisible by 3. Then we have 4. What is the criteria for divisibility by 4? That the last two digits should be divisible by 4. We have last two digits divisible by 4. For the criteria of 5, we have the last digit should either be a 5 or a 0. So last digit is either 5 or 0. When we talk about 6, 6 is basically 2 into 3. So both the criteria of 2, 3 should be applicable here. Basically it should be an even number ending with all these values, plus the sum of the digits should be divisible by 3. That is the criteria for a number to be divisible by 6. Finally we have 9, and for 9 we have a very special criteria that sum of digits is divisible by 9. For 10 it is quite simple, the last digit should be 0, nothing else. So we have a simple criteria that the last digit is 0. So these are all the divisibility criteria which might be helpful in the solving of questions we are going to see today. So let us carry on now. So there is a 8-digit number called this, and it leaves a remainder 0 when divided by 5, which basically means that this particular number is divisible by 3. So let me write down that information. 425 274 6b is divisible by 3, right? So what is the divisibility criteria of 3? The criteria simply says that the sum of all the digits should be divisible by 3. So let us add all the digits. We have 4 plus 2 plus 5 plus 2 plus 7, 4 plus 6 plus b. When we add all them up, we have 6 plus 5, 11, 13 and 7, 20. Further we have 30. So we have 30 plus b as the sum of all digits. Now if we want this b to be divisible by 3, this sum should be overall divisible by 3. Here we get the sum as 30 plus b. What are the possible values of b for which it can be actually divisible by 3? So we can put b as 0 and the overall sum will become 30. So that is a good criteria. 30 is divisible by 3. If we put b is equal to 3 here, the sum becomes 33. It is also divisible by 3. If we put b is equal to 6 and b is equal to 9, we get sum as 36 and 39. Here also they are satisfying the condition, it is 39, sorry. So, 4 values of b are possible such that this particular number is divisible by 3. Okay, so we have option number C as the correct option in this particular question. Moving on, we have this number divisible by 7. What is the value of the digit p? So in this question now, not any criteria will be helpful. We have to simply divide that number by 7. That is the best approach you can follow in this particular question. So let me just write it down. We have 3798, 125, then we have a p, then we have 369, right? And simply we divide this number by 7. So initially it goes 5 times. We take 9 here, then it go 4 times. Then we bring down this 8 and it go 2 times. We have 4 here and we take this 1. So I am just writing this again from this point 41, and now it goes again 5 times. You get this 2 and it goes 8 times. You get a 6 again and a 5. Now it will go 9 times, 63, and now the remainder will be 2. After that, p will come in the picture, and one after the another the digits will come, and we will have 2, p, 3, 6, 9. Okay. Before this part, all the part we divided went perfectly well till this part. We got a remainder of 2 now, and further these 4 digits will come after one after the another. So if this particular number is overall divisible by 7, this complete number will automatically become divisible by 7. So what we have to do now is that we have to check whether this particular number is divisible or not, and for doing that we have different options. So we can put different values of p in this case and get our answer. So we can put p as 1, the number becomes 21369. We put p as 6, the number becomes 26369. Similarly, we can try for other values of p also. We can try for p is equal to 7, the number becomes 27369, and we take p is equal to 9, the number becomes 29369. Now what we have to do is that we have to just do a rough and quick division process running through all the options and all the possible values which are there, and therefore it will not take much time. The only idea is you have to just try to complete this division process in your head. Okay. So out of these 4 options, if I begin with this one, that is the option number B, we will just run through a quick division here. So here you can see 26, 2, 6, 3, 6, 9, it will go first 3 times, you have a 21, then 5 will be the remainder, 3 will be remaining, then it will go 7 times, so you will have 49, then the remainder will be 4, again you get 6, it go I think 6 times again, here you have 42, 4 is remaining, the 9 will come and it will go further 7 times, so it will just cancel out. So doing this quick division process in your head, or you can also do it in the rough copy, you can get this particular option as satisfying the condition. While dividing this option, let us say we will have 2, 1, 3, 6, 9, let us try dividing it by 7, it will go 3 times first, then you have 3, you put a 0, bring a 6, then it go 5 times, then the remainder is 1, you bring 9, even then it goes 2 times, 5 will be the remainder. So this number will not be definitely divisible. So this is the process you have to go through during the exam. It is simple division which I have done here. Just if you are smart enough, try to do it in this way, or even if you can try to actually divide so that you are sure. Okay, don't be that smart that you are reckless in your calculation and take any wrong value. Just be sure that okay, if this is coming out to be correct, please verify the answer by actually dividing this particular value. Okay, so by this hit and trial and guerrilla warfare approach, you can take the correct answer as option number B, that is 6. Okay. Now we have question number 3. It says, if R and S are different integers and both are divisible by 5, then which of the following is not necessarily true? So R is divisible by 5, so you can write it like this, 5 into x, right? Similarly, if S is also divisible by 5, you can write it like this, 5 into y, which basically means it will have 5 as a factor and some other number also. Here it will have 5 as a factor and some other number also. That is the basic idea of writing like this. Now we will check one option after the other. The first option says that R minus 5 is divisible by 5. So what is, R minus S. What is R minus S? It is nothing but 5x minus 5y, that is 5 common, x minus y. So obviously if there is a factor of 5, this will be divisible by 5. So option number A is true. We will check the third option and the fourth option first. The third option says R into S is divisible by 25. So R is 5x and S is 5y. They multiply to form 25xy, and this definitely is going to be divisible by 25. So this is also correct. This is also correct. Then we have R square plus S square is divisible by 5. R square plus S square will be nothing but 5x square plus 5y square. That will be simply 25x square plus 25y square. So here you can see also factor of 25 is common, and definitely it is going to be divisible by 5 also. Okay. So this option is also correct, but option number B is not going to be correct. Let me show you why. Because when you have R plus 5, it becomes 5x plus 5y, or simply you take 5 common, x plus y. Here is a factor of 5, that's okay, but there is no other factor which guarantees that there will be a 2 also. There might be a 2, but it might be the case there is no 2 at all in the factor there. So it is not necessarily true that it is divisible by 10. It might be, but not with surety. So we have option number B here as the correct option for this particular case. Okay. So here you can see the approach is not one single approach, but the idea is same, right? That idea you have to follow and just have the guerrilla warfare mindset while dealing with number system. Now the question says, how many integers are there between 1 and 100 which have 4 as a digit but are not divisible by 4? It is a very simple question. What you have to do here is just write down all such digits which are having 4 as a digit in it from 1 to 100. So what are those digits going to be? Those are simply 4, 14, 24, 34, 44, 54, 64, 74, 84 and 94. Also we will have, here we will have 40, then 41, 42, 43, 44. These are all the digits from 1 to 100 which are having 4 at least in their structure. And now we have to find out of these digits which are not divisible by 4. So let us first pick out and cancel out those digits which are divisible by 4. The remaining will be not divisible. So 4 is divisible, 24 is divisible, here 44 and here 40 will be divisible. Then we will have 48 as divisible. Then we will have 64 and 84 as divisible. Okay. So now we will see how many digits are left which are not divisible by 4. So those digits are going to be 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So there are overall 12 such numbers which contain 4 as a digit but are not divisible by 4. So we have option number C, that is 12, as the correct option in this particular case. Okay. Now we have the fifth question. If n is a digit which is greater than 3, and it is divisible by 3 but not by 6. So which one of the following is divisible by 4? Okay, so we'll focus on this part first. First of all, it says n is a digit, and since if it is a digit, the only possible values for n are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and also 0. Out of it, it says that n is greater than 3. So we can easily cancel out the following digits. So 1, 2, 3 and 0 will not be applicable. We have to talk about these 6 digits only now. Now it says it is divisible by 3. So out of all these 6 digits remaining, we have 6 and 9 which is divisible by 3. But it should not be divisible by 6. So 6 can be eliminated. We have only 9 as the only option for this value of n. So n is equal to 9 basically. This is what the information in this very first line says. All of it I have derived from just one particular line, and I got the value of n is equal to 9. Okay. Now it says which of the following is divisible by 4. So we have 2, 9, 2, 9 will be simply 2 into 9, that is 18. Here we have 3n, which is 3 into 9 into, that is 27. Here we have 2 into 9 plus 4, it is 18 plus 4, that is 22. Here we have 3 into 9 plus 1, that comes out to be 28. So out of all these 4 options, which is divisible by 4? It is not, it is not, it is not. Only 28 is divisible by 4. So we can say option number D, 3n plus 1 is divisible by 4. So you can see that the approach is not that difficult at all. The calculation is not that difficult at all. You have to just interpret all the information given in this just one line. That first it is a digit, so values can be from 1 to 9. Then greater than 3, so you can eliminate these 3. Then divisible by 3, so you can have 6 and 9. Then not divisible by 6, you can eliminate 6, you can get the final value as 9, and then try putting the values in different options, nothing else. Okay, so this is something na people actually miss out while solving the questions. Now let us have a look at this particular question. The question says the product of 15, 14, 13 till 3, 2 and 1, all the numbers from 1 to 15, they are multiplied and can be written in the form of 3 to the power of m into n, where m and n are positive integers. So what is the maximum value of m? See, you can have different combinations, because as you can see all these numbers, if you look at 15, it is nothing but 3 into 5. Okay, there will be somewhere at 12 which is nothing but 3 into 4. Here you have a 3 already. Then you can just take out 3's on one side and have different combinations and write it in the factor of 3 to the power something into the remaining number, whatever be the product. Here it says you need the maximum value of m, which means you have to just take out whatever 3's are possible in this particular product. Just take out all the 3's and you will see what is the power of m. So one can just simply write all the values first. So we have 15, okay. Out of all these numbers, we have some factors of 3. So this is a multiple of 3, 12 is a multiple of 3, 9 is a multiple of 3, 6 and finally 3. Okay. In all of it, we can write 15 as nothing but 3 into 5. It is 3 into 4. This is 3 into 3. This is 3 into 2, and this is simply 3. Okay. Now what we have to do, we have to just pick up all the 3's which are possible. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we have 2 3's and 9, 5 and 6. Overall we have 6 times 3's coming in the product, and overall you can say it is nothing but going to be 3 to the power of 6 into whatever be the number. So one can simply say m is coming out to be nothing but 6. So it is option number B, 6 as the correct option in this particular question. Okay. So here you can see you have to just play with numbers and nothing else. This is the only game where there is no set approach, no equation making, okay, no diagram making required, but you have to just apply your critical thinking, your ability to do manipulations with numbers. Now we'll move on to this question now, 7th. Two statements are given followed by two conclusions. So the statement says all numbers are divisible by 2 and all numbers are divisible by 3. Okay. Now the conclusion one says all numbers are divisible by 6. So this conclusion is correct, because if a number is divisible by 2 also and divisible by 3 also, it is definitely going to be divisible by 6. Okay, that is also the divisibility criteria of 6, that it is divisible by both. Okay, so that is fine. Conclusion 2 says that all numbers are divisible by 4. Now this is incorrect. If one number is divisible by 2, that doesn't mean it will be automatically divisible by 4. It can be divisible, but it not also might be divisible. Let me just show you some examples. Let us take the number 82 and the number 72. This 82 is divisible by 2 because it is even, no doubts about that. But when you divide it by 4, it goes 20 times, plus you have a remainder of 2. So it is not completely divisible by 4. Well, this number is also divisible by 2, 36 times, and also divisible by 4, and it goes 18 times with 4. So it is not necessarily true that if a number is divisible by 2, it will automatically be divisible by 4. So this conclusion is incorrect, and we have only conclusion 1, that is option number A, as the correct option in this particular question. So it is quite a basic question, just given in the form of statements and conclusions. So you have to be wise enough to figure out what the idea going on is. Now we are at question number 8. Now we have to consider all 3-digit numbers without repetition of digits which are obtained using 3 non-zero digits which are multiples of 3. So simply put, the question says that if you are using only these 3 digits, which are the digits which are multiples of 3, these digits are basically 3, 6 and 9. Okay. And without repeating the digits, we have to create all the possible 3-digit numbers from these 3 numbers. Let us see how we can do that. So simply we have to just check how many combinations we can make. If we put 3 at first place, we will have 6 and 9, this is the first number, or you can have 3 at the first place and reverse, so 396. Other time you can put 6 at the first place, then you will have 639, and the reverse case will be 693. Also you can have 9 at the first digit, then it will become 936 or 963. These are all the 6 possible numbers which can be formed by the digits 3, 6 and 9. Okay, so is the idea clear to you? Is this particular idea clear to you? Okay, so these are the all the 3-digit numbers which can be formed by these multiples of 3 without repetition. This is the first part of the question. Now let us say, let S be equal to their sum. So S is nothing but their sum. So 369 plus 396 plus all the numbers, when you add them up until 963, you get this particular value. And now we have to find the sum, how much the sum is coming out to be. So I guess the sum is coming out to be somewhat a multiple of 9, I guess, and the sum is coming out to be 3996. So this sum will be 3996. Okay. Now which of the following statements are correct? The first statement says that S is always divisible by 74, and the statement 2 says S is always divisible by 9. The statement 2 is easier to verify, because if some number is divisible by 9, the sum of all the digits should also be divisible by 9. So in this sum we have 3 plus 9 plus 9 plus 6. The sum is coming out to be 27, and 27 is divisible by 9. So this statement number 2 is correct. What about statement number 1, that whether this sum is divisible by 74 or not? We will actually divide and check for ourselves. Okay. So we will just simply divide the sum 3996 with 74, and we will look out what are the possible values which we can get. So we will go 5 times first, and I think there will be 370, 226. Then it will go 4 times, and the answer will be 296. They will just simply cancel out, you will get a 0. So yes, it is also divisible by 74. That we verified by actually dividing the number by 74. So sometimes you have to do that also. So in this statement now we can say both statement 1 and both statement 2 are correct. So we have option number C as the correct option. Moving on to the question number 9. It says let x, y, z be a 3-digit number where x plus y plus z is not a multiple of 3. Then this sum is not divisible by what? Okay. So in this question now you can see that x, y, z are 3 digits, but x, y, z is just the expression of the number. If we have to find out the mathematical value, that mathematical value of x, y, z will be nothing but 100 times x plus 10 times y, and then we have 1 times z. Simply I am writing it z. This is the mathematical value of this particular expression. Similarly, we have the another number as y, z, x. It is coming out to be 100y plus 10z plus x, and finally we have the third number which is zxy. The sum is coming out to be 100z plus 10x plus y. We have to simply just add up all the 3 numbers. We have to just add up all of them, na? So in this question we have to just add all of them up. So this sum xyz plus zxy plus yzx, this sum is coming around to be 100x plus 10x plus x, which is nothing but 111x. Okay, so we are adding 100 plus 10 plus 1 times x, that will be simply 111x, 111x. Similarly, from here you will get 100 plus 10 plus 1, that is 111y, and ultimately from here you will get 100z plus 10z plus z, that is 111z. Okay, from here also we can take 111 as common, and you will have 111 into x plus y plus z as the mathematical value of this particular sum. Okay, is it correct now? Now based on this information we have to figure out whether this sum, this overall sum is not divisible by which of the following options. Okay, so we have find out this sum is around this value. Now we can further break it down in this way. Let me just show you, erasing it to create some space now. Here you can see that the sum becomes 111 into x plus y plus z, and 111 is nothing but 37 into 3. Let us check and multiply. 3 sevens are 21, 3 3 9 and 2, we have 111. So this 111 can also be further written as 37 into 3 into x plus y plus z. Okay. So here one can say if this is the sum, what are the values with which it is divisible? So this sum is divisible by 37, this sum is divisible by 3, and this sum is also divisible by x plus y plus z. So we can just eliminate option number D, option number C and option number A. What are the options which are left? Only B, option B, which is 9 is left, and that is also true because here 37 is a prime number, 3 is there, but this x, y, z is not a multiple of 3. So you have only one factor of 3. To make it divisible by 9, you actually need 3 into 3, but only one 3 is there, not 2 3s. So this sum will not be divisible by 9. And therefore we can say option number B is going to be the correct option in this case, because this sum is not divisible by the only number, and that number is 9. Okay. And so now we have this particular question, which is the climax of whatever we saw in divisibility. But wait, there is one question more after this, and so we'll switch to remainder after this particular discussion, this question, and then we'll see how the evening plays out, right? So here we have this question which says certain 3-digit numbers have the following characteristics. The characteristics are all the 3 digits are different, first of all. Secondly, the number is divisible by 7, and thirdly, the number on reversing the digits is also divisible by 7. So now we are talking about some 3-digit numbers which are divisible by 7, all are different digits, and when you reverse it, it is again divisible by 7. So basically one can say that let the digits be x, y and z, so 3 digits, right? What will happen when we reverse the digits? When we reverse the digits will be z, y and x. So y will keep still occupying the middle position. And now one thing we know that both these numbers, this and these, are divisible by 7. So one can argue that when you subtract both these numbers, even then these numbers will be divisible by 7. Okay. So we can write the first, we have to write the values of the number. The values of the first number is going to be 100x plus 10y plus z, because there are 3 digits now. And for the last digit, the second reversed order, we have 100z plus 10y plus x, right? Now if both are divisible by 7, so the number we obtain by subtracting the two numbers will also be divisible by 7. So one can say when we subtract this number from this number, this is the overall difference between them. So 10y and 10y will cancel on subtraction. You will have 100x minus x plus z minus 100x, and this product will actually come out to be 99x minus 99, it's not, sorry, 100x, it's actually 100z. Okay. So this value will come out to be 99x minus 99z. You can further simplify it like this: 99x minus z, right? And this value should also be a multiple of 7. That means you can write this particular value in the form of 99x minus z is equal to 7 times p. What is p? P can be any number. The idea is this whole thing, 99 into x minus z, is 7 multiplied by something. That something is p. We do not really bother about what p is. The basic idea is that this value is a multiple of 7, because the earlier two numbers were divisible, so this difference will also be divisible. Okay. This was the basic discussion so far, and we derived this from this particular discussion. Now let us just erase the old stuff and we will move on into the new territory. So here I am erasing it. So one can say that 99 times x minus z is equal to 7p. Now one thing is obvious, that 99 is not a factor of 7. If you try to divide 99 by 7 now, you will not get anything good, because it is not a factor simply. So that simply means that if 99 is not the factor of 7, then this part should have 7 in it. So this x minus z should be a multiple of 7. Right? So this x minus z could be equal to 7 itself, this x minus z could be equal to 14 itself, and so on, whatever multiple of 7s are possible. But one thing is there, these x, y and z's are only digits, which means their value are going to be only from 1 to 9, which means even if you subtract one from the other, you cannot never get 14 as the answer. Okay. So this x minus 7, since both are digits, their value can be only from 1 to 9. Their subtraction can only be equal to 7. In no way you can subtract two one digit numbers and get a 2-digit number. Okay, so that is not possible. You cannot pick any two numbers, subtract them and get a 14. That is impossible. So one can simply say that from all the discussion that we had through, the idea is x minus z is going to be equal to 7. That is the basic idea which we could figure out from all the discussion so far. Okay, and this will actually help to find us out all the 3-digit numbers which satisfy the following criteria, right. So in this question, what approach we had a number and we had the reverse number, both were divisible by 7, so their difference was also divisible by 7, and the difference came out to be 99 x minus z, and we wrote it equal to 7p. Now 99 is not a factor, which means x minus z should be some multiple of 7, and therefore one can say that since x and z are digits, they cannot be greater than a 1-digit number. So x minus 7 is definitely going to be equal to 7, and that is what I have written. Using this information, we can actually find out whatever digits are there which are possible. So let us look at the digits now. Okay, so here you can say that if x is 1 digit and z is 1 digit, and on subtracting them we get 7, then what are the possible chances? The possible things are either we can have x as 9, so z will be 2, or we can have x as 8, so this z will become 1. Apart from this, there is no other possibility. Okay? And so we have these two possibilities. We can say that one of the number can be 9. Let me just erase it. I can say one of the number can be of the form 9 blank 2, this is one 3-digit number, and another number could be 2 blank 9. Okay, so x and z were terminal numbers, the first and the last digit. So one number can be formed as 9 blank 2, blank is the middle number that we have to find, that is y, and the reverse order will be 2 blank 9. Similarly, here we have 8 blank 1 and 1 blank 8, both of them also having this value of 8 and 1. So we have this simple order 8 and 1, and we have the reverse order also, that is 1 and 8. Okay. So these are the possible numbers, and now let us check what are the values we can fill in for the middle numbers now. So we have overall 2 pairs. Let us talk about the first pair first. We have 9 blank and 2, or you can simply have also another number 2 blank and 9. Let us see for different values of digits. We have digits from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let us try putting these digits. So we can have actually putting various digits and checking by hit and trial that which digit is satisfying the criteria of divisibility by 7, because that is the most important criteria in this particular question. So we will check for one and another digits. From here we can say that if out of all the digits we put the value of blank as 5, here we get 259, here we get 952. If you divide this number 259 by 7, so we have 259, it will go 3 times, we have 21, we will have a 4 as remainder, 9, it will go further 7 times, so 49. That is, it is completely divisible if we put the value of the blank as 5. So the two numbers are 952 or 259. Similarly, we can check for the another options, and the another options are like this: 8 bracket 1 and 1 blank 8. Let us again do the same thing, try putting all the values from the keypad we have here, and out of all these values only one value will actually satisfy the criteria of divisibility by 7, and that is when we put the value of 6. So if we put the value of 6 here and here, we get 168. Let us try and dividing it by 7. It will go 2 times, further it will go 4 times and it will disappear. So we can say there are 4 possible digits, and those digits are, let me write it down again, 259 and 952 and 861 and 168. Only these 4 digits are possible which have all the 3 digits as different number divisible by 7. Even if you reverse them, it is divisible by 7. So these are 4 such numbers which are possible. So option number B is the correct option in this case. And I agree this is a very difficult question. So please do not waste your time in such questions when they appear. Please ignore them in the first iteration. Only when you have enough time that you can take the risk, only then try to attempt such questions which are not that straightforward. Now we will get into the zone of remainders. It's quite easy, not that difficult. And so we have the first case here. We have the product 91 into 92 into 93 to 94. All the numbers are there. Okay. And now we are dividing this particular number by 1261. So what will be the remainder? Okay. So some of you might be surprised by looking at 1261. What we have to do is try to just factorize this particular number. So let us try by 2, not 2 because it is not even. Then we will try by 3. Is 3 a factor? No, it is not a factor because the sum is coming out to be around 10. So it will not be divisible by 3. 5 will not also work. You can try with 7. I think that will not work. Then 9 will not work. 11 will not work. If you divide it by 13, when you divide this number by 13, it will, I think, go, it will go first 9 times. You will have, here you will have 9 and 1, and then it will go 7 times. So 91 will go, and basically it will go with the factor of 13 into 97. So you can factorize this 1261 as nothing but 13 into 97, which brings me two good news. First good news is that we can just cancel out 97, it is perfectly divisible by 97. The another good news is that when 13 is divided by 91, we get 7. Okay, so this is the basic tables etc. which are using. So 13 into 7 is 91, this will also go 7 times. Basically this number 1261 is perfectly dividing this large product, and therefore we can say that remainder will be equal to 0. Okay. So this was the first level question. Here the remainder is coming out to be 0. Okay. Why? Because the number 1261 can be perfectly cancelled from the product. Okay. So this was one. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 12. It says if 3 to the power of 2019 is divided by 10, then what will be the remainder? Okay. So just think in your head once, what does that mean? What happens when you divide any number by 10? So if you divide any number by 10, you basically get the last digit. Let us pick any number, let us take 59. Okay. When you divide it by 10, it will go perfectly 5 times, and you will have 9 as the remainder, and this remainder is nothing but the last digit. So when anything is divided by 10, the remainder is equal to last digit. And what we have to find is that we have to find the last digit of the particular number, which is 3 to the power of 2019. What is the last digit? Whatever the last digit will be, that will also be the remainder. So for this number we have to find the last digit. Now let me introduce you to the concept of circularity. These are the topics we have covered exhaustively in our modules, but now I am just giving you a brief introduction. So just take the power of 3 is to 1, you get 3. When you do 3 square, you get 3 into 3, that is 9. When you do 3 cube, you get 27, that is the last digit becomes 7. And when you do 3 to the power of 4, you get last digit as 1 in 81. After that what will happen, since 1 is coming here, when you go with 3 to the power of 5, we will just simply multiply 3 with this term 81 and you will get 243. The next term 3 to the power 6 will be definitely 729. Here also the last digit will be 9. So here you can see the pattern is now repeating. After every power of 4, you can see the last digit is repeating. Here we have 3, then 9, then 3, then 9. Definitely 3 to the power of 7 will end with a 7. No matter what the digits ahead are, but the last digit is going to be 7. Similarly, 3 to the power of 8, this digit is going to be 1 again. So 3 to the power of 4n is always ending with 1. Okay, this is the basic idea of whatever concept I just told you, and that is something we are going to apply in this question. So in this question we have 3 to the power of 2019. What I will do is that I will try to break up this power in two parts. The first part I will keep as 2016 and the other part I will keep as 3. So why I am doing that? I am just simply breaking it down in such a way that this number is a factor of 4. We want to just make it 3 to the power of 4n, and if you check by dividing 2016 by 4, it will go perfectly 504 times. Okay. So this 3 to the power, so further we can write this whole expression as 3 to the power of 2016 multiplied by 3 to the power of 3, right. This 3 to the power of 2016, since 2016 is a factor of 4, its last digit as we saw earlier is going to be simply 1. Okay. So whatever be the digits ahead, the last digit is going to be 1. And further we have 3 to the power of 3, that means this digit is nothing but 27. So on multiplying the two numbers, this number and 27, the last digit will be 1 into 7, that is 7 will be nothing but the last digit of the overall product. And one can say the remainder when divided by 10 or the last digit is coming out to be 7. So this was, guys, the concept of circularity in the exponents. Similarly, there we have a pattern for 7 also, there is a pattern for 2 also. So that is something we are covering exhaustively, but here we have to keep the discussion brief. So now moving on, we have what is the remainder when this particular product is divided by 100. So initially we talked about remainder when it was 0, then remainder when divided by 10, and now we have remainder when divided by 100. So we have to find, actually, when a number is divided by 100, we have to find the last two digits. Getting the idea? If you divide, let's say, 289 by 100, it will go perfectly 2 times and the remainder will be 89. So what is 89? It is nothing but the last two digits, and last two digits is something we have to find in this particular product. Okay. So let me just write down the product again. The product is 51 into 27 into 35 into 62 into 75, right. Now one thing I can observe is that within this 35 and within this 62, there is, we can further write it like this, 7 into 5, and here we can write 2 into 31. From this 5 and this 2, we can actually get a 10. Do you remember something, a similar question we saw in which we tried to get more tens by just simple multiplication of 5 and 2. So one thing is clear, in this complete product, 10 or 0 will be the last digit. So that is, we are something sure about. So in the last two digits, the last digit is going to be a 0 because there is a factor of 10. Now let us remove the factor of 10 and talk about other digits. So I am removing this 10 and now we are left with the remaining digits. So let us rewrite the product. The product rewritten will be 51 into 27. Here instead of 35, we will write only 7 because we have taken out the 5. Then in the 62, we will write only 31. So we have 31 because we have taken out the 2 also, and here we have 75, right. Now we have to tell the second last digit, and the second last digit is nothing but the product of all these numbers. After that, 0 will add up. That is the basic idea. So we have to find the last digit created by this multiplication. So we just are interested in the last digits of all these numbers. You do not actually have to multiply the actual numbers. You just see what is the product of the last digits. So we just see 1 into, it's not 2, it's 7 actually, sorry. The last digits 1 into 7 into 7 into 1 into 5. We have to just check the product of the last digits. So here we are getting 1 into 7, that would be 7, 7 sevens are 49 into 1, and so here the numbers are coming is 49 into 5. Even further we will focus on the last digit only, so we have to find what is the last digit when 9 is multiplied by 5. So we get 45, and here the last digit is 5. So whenever you multiply all these numbers, the last digit you are getting is 5, and this 5 is nothing but the second last digit, because the last digit is going to be 0 because of factor of 5 and 2. After removing them, whatever be the last digit will be the second last digit. Okay, so that is the particular idea of this question, and here the correct option is going to be option number A, that is 50. So I know guys, not an easy one, but with time, with practice, you can actually figure out whatever is the approach that is needed to apply in such particular questions. Okay, and now we'll move on. We have two statements. The statement 1 says that n is a prime number, okay, and it says n leaves a remainder of 1 when divided by 4. Okay, these are the two statements. And what does the question says? That n is a unique natural number between 10 and 20. What is n? So the question is saying that n is a unique natural number which is lying between 10 and 20, and we have to tell the value of n on the basis of these two statements. Okay, and so we have to tell whether these statements are enough or sufficient to answer the following question. Okay, so basic question, nothing much to worry about. So we can say that whatever are the numbers between 10 to 20, let us just write them down. We have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. These are the numbers written down. Now the first statement says n is a prime number, so let us pick prime numbers first. 11, 13, 17 and 19, these are the 4 prime numbers. Further the question says n leaves a remainder of 1 when divided by 4. So when we divide 11 by 4, it leaves a remainder of 3. So it is leaving a remainder of 3, not in our criteria, we want a remainder of 1. If we take 13 and divide it by 4, it will go 3 times and it will leave a remainder of 1. So yes, this particular number is leaving a remainder of 1. 13 is satisfying the criteria. What about 17? 17, as you can see, is also providing the remainder of 1. So 17 is also satisfying our criteria. Similarly for 19, the criteria does not apply, the remainder will be 3, as you can see. So now we have two such numbers which satisfy the two criteria, which is n is equal to 13 and n is equal to 17. But the question says that we need a unique natural number. We do not want 2, we just want only 1 and only the unique natural number which satisfy the criteria, but we are not getting any unique number, we are getting two such numbers which are satisfying the criteria. So one can say that both these statements are not sufficient to answer the question. So we have option number D as the correct option in this case. Okay, so we'll move on forward. What is the smallest number greater than 1000 that when divided by these numbers will leave a remainder of 3? So guys, a similar question we have covered actually previously in the topic of HCF and LCM, but since the topics are somewhat mixed up, we are also talking about remainder, so I am also including a similar question in this particular part. And I guess you know, since you have seen the video for HCF and LCM, I guess this is something which is very easy for you. So you have to find a number which is, first of all, should be divisible by 6, 9, 12, 15 and 18, all these 5 numbers. Then it should be greater than 100. So we need a multiple which is greater than 100. Sorry, not 100 but 1000. And finally it should leave a remainder of 3. It should leave a remainder of 3 when being divided with all of these numbers. So if a number is divisible by all of them, that means that that number is the common multiple of all these numbers. So basically in this question what we have to find is the LCM of these numbers. Then we have to find that factor of the LCM which is greater than 1000 and add 3 so that we get a remainder of 3. Okay, so that is the process. A similar question I have already covered in HCF LCM video, so you can check it out there also. I am just following a simple approach. First I will find the LCM of these digits. We have 6, 9, 12, 15 and 18. First we will go 2 times. Then again we will go 2 times. Then we will go 3 times. And finally we will go 5 times, so that all of them become 1, 1, 1. And so the LCM is coming out to be 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 5. And I guess we have 180 as the value of the LCM. Okay, so please check it. Please try solving this LCM on your own, because it is such a basic. Now we have actually progressed to so further levels that calculating the LCM, calculating the SCF is some pain you should take on your shoulders, even though I am trying to spoon feed you as much as possible. So next we have the LCM. We will find such a factor of this 180 which is greater than 1000. So let us talk about all such multiples which are greater than 1000. So we have a simple table of 180, so to say, and we will have 180, then we will have 360, then we have 540, 720, 900, and the next multiple will be simply 1080. This particular multiple will be the smallest number greater than 1000. So this criteria, smallest number greater than 1000, will be satisfied by actually 1080, right? Now how much remainder do we want? We want a remainder of 3, so we simply add 3 into this number. So the final number is coming out to be 1080 plus 3, that is 1083. Okay, so option number C is going to be the correct option in this particular question. Okay. Okay, so in this question we have a 2-digit number is reversed and the larger of the two number is divided by the smaller one, and what is the largest possible remainder in this case. So it is a mixed question, as you can see here. We have reversal of digits also, and also we have the idea of remainder, and which is the largest possible remainder. So let us say the digit is x, y, and when you reverse it, it becomes y, x. Now let us say that x is greater than y. So this digit will be the larger digit, this digit will be the smaller digit. Now we want that our digit, if it is required that we need the largest possible remainder, we should have the largest possible number which should be divided. So when you divide a larger number, obviously you will get a larger remainder, definitely. So we want this x, y to be as large as possible. In order to do that, we can put the value of x as 9, and so this number will become 9y, and here it will be simply reversed, it will become y 9. So one thing is sure, that 9 is going to be definitely in this particular sequence. Now we have to check for the values of 9, sorry, not 9 but y, we have to check for the values of y. Okay, So let us try with the small value of y. Let's put y equal to 1. We get 91 here as the digit, and here we get 19 as the digit, right? When you try to divide it, let me do the division here in the corners. 91 divided by 19, it will go perfectly 4 times, that is 76, and you will have 15 as the remainder. Okay, that will be the case. So here the remainder is coming out to be 15. It's not that large, which we should expect. Let us try to put a very large value to y. Let us try to put this y is equal to as let's say 8. The number will become 98 and the other number will become 89. Okay. So when we try and divide 98 with 89, what will happen? It will go only one times and you will have, I guess, 9 as the remainder here. So in this case 9 is coming as the remainder. So one thing is sure, if you take the other digit y to be very small or to be very large, the remainders are coming out to be very small. But in order to get the largest remainder, we should try with the digits which are somewhere in the middle. And which are the digits in the middle? We can actually put y is equal to 4 and y is equal to 5. Let us try with these values now. These are the middle digits. So let us hit and trial with these digits. We will get 94 here and 49 here, and here we will get 95 and 59. And now let us try to do the division. So if we divide 95 with 59, let us do the 5 wala part first. We have 95 to be divided by 59, it will go only one times, and here you will have 36 as the remainder. So as you can see, it is quite a larger value. What about this 49 and 94? When we do the division in such a way that we divide 94 by 49, it definitely goes one times, and we have this. When you subtract it, you will get 45 as the remainder. And so in this case 45 is the value which is coming as the remainder. As you can see from all the options, the highest value from all the hit and trials we did for different values of y, we get 45 as the largest remainder, and that is also the option number D, so that one can be sure that greater than 45 there is no other remainder which is largest, and 45 is the largest possible remainder. And how did we get that? We just assume that if the remainder is to be largest, this first digit should be the largest, that is 9, and depending on this 9 we put actually different values. We did hit and trial with different values of y. Very small and very large values of the y, the other digit, will give actually small remainders, but we need large remainders. That is possible only in the case of these middle digits, which are giving remainders as large as 45 and 36. So 45 is the greatest possible remainder in this case. And so with this particular question, all the discussion regarding the concept of remainder has finished. Now we will have only one question, a very good question on the concept of divisibility, and that would be the last question of the day. So as you can see, it's quite a long question. So an identity card has number in this way, and where the digits are 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 9 only. Now the number is divisible by 9. Okay. So let me just try to figure out what the number is like. We have this particular sequence. So this is the 7-digit number, as you can see, and let me place the numbers also. This is the first place, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh, right? These are all the digits. And what are the digits we have to use to create this number? Those digits are 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so please pay attention. It is a really good question. Some questions you should not mess with, even if you have a lot of time. Deal with such questions only when you have no other option, and these questions are not that easy to crack. That is why I am taking them in the last. so that you are capable enough to understand the process. Okay, so now the question says the number is divisible by 9. Okay, so for a number to be divisible by 9, what is the criteria? That sum of all the numbers should be divisible by 9. So when you add up all the numbers, just add them all up, this sum will actually come out to be, here you have 7, 12, 19 and 8 comes out to be 27, and the sum is coming out to be, I guess, 36. Okay, the overall idea is, since 36 is divisible by 9, the overall sum will be divisible by 9. So yes, this is true that this sum is divisible by 9. Okay. Now what is happening after deleting the first number from the right? First of all, be clear with what is right and what is left. Okay, so this is my right hand in which I am holding my pen. This is the right side. This is my left hand in which I am holding, wearing my watch. This is the left side. So you must be clear with which hand is right hand. So this is the right hand and this is the left hand, and in this order I am writing the things. Now it says, if we delete the first digit from the right, if we delete this digit, let me use a red colored pen. If we delete this particular digit, the resulting number is divisible by 6. Now one thing is there, if you remove this last digit, the overall 6 digits are divisible by 6, that is the idea. Now what is the criteria for divisibility by 6? The criteria is that if a number is divisible by 6, it should be divisible by 2 also and 3 also. So what is the criteria for divisibility by 3? That is, this last digit, this 6th digit should have an even number. That means this can be occupied by 2, 4 and 8 only. So you can see the options we have here. In the top there is no 6. So only the options we have here are 2, 4 and 8, right? Also one thing, this is the criteria of divisibility by what? 2. What about 3? So the other criteria is this sum, this other sum should be divisible by 3. Now if you look at the sum, here all the digits are not a multiple of 3 because you have cancelled out 6 and 3. We are not adding these two numbers in this discussion. We are not talking about them. And so if we just take the sum without 9, the sum cannot be a divisible of 3. Are you getting it? So if you want to eliminate any number and you still want that the other numbers add up to be divisible by 3, just remove this 9, because 9 is the only number which is perfectly divisible by 3. If you remove 9, the others will sum up to form a number which is actually divisible by 3. Without 9 that cannot happen. So this 9 will be definitely the last position. Are you getting the idea? Let me repeat it again. Out of all these digits, you have to just cancel out or eliminate one digit. Now except 9, if you remove any other digit, the sum will not be a multiple of 3. If you remove 9, all of the digits will add up to form a number which is divisible by 3. So when you add all these up, definitely you get a 27. Okay, so that is divisible by 3, and therefore we can say this last digit is 9, because except that 9 we cannot eliminate any other digit because the sum will not be divisible by 3. Okay, so that is slightly complex, but I have explained it twice. I think that would work. And now this digit is going to be an even digit. Okay, we will move further now. After deleting 2 digits from the right, the resulting number is divisible by 5. So if you cancel out further these 2 digits, this one and this one, this number of 5 digits is actually divisible by 5. Now what is the criteria of divisibility by 5? Either the number should end with 5 or with 0. Can you see 0 among the options? No. So definitely this place is going to be occupied by 5 without any doubt. Moving on further, it says after deleting the 3 digits from the right, you delete these 3 digits, the number is divisible by 4. So this particular region is divisible by 4. And what is the criteria for divisibility by 4? At least the last 2 digits should be divisible by 4. And in that particularly we understand that this digit here should be an even digit, so it should be occupied by 2, 4 or 8 only. This particular blocks the fourth position, right? Now moving further, it says after deleting 4 digits from the right of the original number, if you remove these 4 digits, so only 3 digits will be left, the resulting number is divisible by 3. So this resulting number will be overall divisible by 3. So let me just write it down like this. This part is divisible by 3. Further it says after deleting last 5 digits, if we remove these 5 digits, we are left with these only 2 digits. The original number, the resulting number is divisible by 2. So if you want this particular number after cancelling all the 5 blocks, if you want this number to be divisible by 2, that will mean that this position will be occupied by an even number, that is 2 or 4 or an 8, right? Now one thing we have observed that this position and this position can be occupied only by an even number. Apart from it, the last position and the third last position are occupied by 9 and 5 respectively. Now we have only 2 blank spaces which can be occupied by odd numbers, and those odd numbers here left are only 1 and only 7, right? So this place, the first place can be occupied by either 1 or 7, and this last, the third place can be occupied by either 1 and 7. Are you clear with this particular idea that whatever digits we have put here, now we have only 2 left to be placed. This digit can be either 1 or 7, this digit can also be either 1 or 7, right? Now let us move further. Further information says that these first 3 digits are actually divisible by 3. So these 3 digits are actually divisible by 3. So let us talk about this part now. If these 3 digits are divisible by 3, that would simply mean that the sum would be divisible by 3. So what is the sum? This digit can either be 1 or 7. Okay, the middle digit is something even, let's call it x for the time being, and this last digit could be 1 or 7. So possible sum would be like this: 1 plus x plus 7. So out of the two, out of 1 and 7, only 1 will come one time. So 1 or 7, and the middle digit in between is even, and we want this overall sum to be divisible by, you know what, 3. So the sum will come out to be 8 plus x. Now we try with different values of the even numbers possible. Even number can be either 2 or 4 or 8. So if we put the value of even number to be 2, so if we put x is equal to 2, the sum will become 10. This sum is not divisible. If we put x is equal to 4, the sum will become 8 plus 4, that is 12. Yes, this is divisible. On the contrary, if you take x is equal to 6, the sum will become 8 plus 6, that is 14. It is not divisible by 3. So the only possible value which can be put at the second place is equal to 4. So here, out of the 2, 4 and 8, 3 choices, we can put only 4 as the correct choice. Okay. Now we are sure that these two positions can be occupied by 1 or 7. This position is occupied by 4, and now we have to just tell whether these positions are to be occupied by, now the 2 digits are left only, 2 and 8 and 2 and 8. So we have to tell out of these two positions which position will be occupied by 2 and which position will be occupied by 8. For that we use the another piece of information which says that the first 4 digits, when you remove the last 3 digits, the remaining number should be divisible by 4, and in order to make the number divisible by 4, the last 2 digits of the number, which means out of all these 4 digits, we should be interested only in the last 2 digits, and these last 2 digits should be actually divisible by 4. So what are the all possible last digits which can be formed here, last 2 digits? So there are 2 cases possible. In this place there can be either 1 or 7. So in the first place here, in the third position, this place, this could be either 1 or 7, and the second place could be either 2 or 8. So what are the 4 possible combinations? The possible combinations are 1 2, 7 2, then 1 8 and 7 8. Okay. Here you can see 12 is divisible by 4, 72 is also divisible by 4, but 18 is not divisible and also 78 is not divisible. That means this even position can never be occupied by 8, it can be occupied by 2 only. So, this another even position will be now occupied by 2, and if this position is occupied by 2, without any doubt we can say the last even position has to be filled by 8. And so, now we have figured out the pattern of digits. Now, one thing is there, it does not matter whether there is 1 or 7, because even if 1 is there, it is divisible by 4, even if 7 is there, it is divisible by 4. So, 1 and 7 can actually interchange their position, and finally, we have only 2 options or 2 possibilities left for the pattern of the number, and the 2 possibilities are, first possibility becomes when 7 is in the beginning. So, we have 7, 4, 1, 2, 5, 8 and 9. So, this is the first possibility, and the second possibility is the one in which 1 is in the beginning. We get 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8, 9. Okay. So, these are the 2 possible numbers which satisfy all the criteria. I am just summarizing all of it. So, here we have sum as 9. If you remove the last one, the digit is divisible by 6. So, this digit should be even, and overall you can eliminate 9, so that the remaining sum is divisible by 3. After that, the another information says this place is divisible by 5 when you delete the last 2 digits. So, here we have 5. After that, we have different criteria. So, here we should have an even number, here we should also have an even number. So, these are the 3 places of even numbers. So, odd numbers can be placed at first and the third position. Okay. Within this, we must know that in order to make the first 3 digits divisible by 3, we should have only 4 at the second position and no other number. Now, if 4 is placed here, we have the choice of placing either 2 or 8 at the fourth position, and so we have the criteria that till fourth position the 4 numbers are such that the number is divisible by 4. For that, the criteria is last 2 digits are divisible by 4. For that, we checked all the possible pairs which are formed by 1 and 7 and 2 and 8. Out of it, we can see if this position is occupied by 8, it will not be divisible by 4. So, we added 2 instead and placed 8 on the remaining location. After that, we have also realized that it does not matter whether 7 is at this position or at this position, the criteria is still being satisfied. So, overall we have 2 possible cases for such a number. Okay. Now, what we have to tell in the final answer says that what is the possible value, I am highlighting it, sorry, wrong color. So, what is the possible value of the sum of middle 3 digits? So, what are the middle 3 digits? Here they are 125 and here the 3 middle digits are 725. So, in this first case, when you add the middle digits, they are 1 plus 2 plus 5, that is equal to 8, and the other 3 digits, they are 7 plus 2 plus 5, that is it is equal to 14. So, there are 2 possible sums of the values of the middle digits, and we are interested in only one of the values. So, here from the options we can see that the option present is option number A, that is 8, and so this value is there given in the option. So, I know guys, this question was a particularly painful question, not just for you but for me also. So, please do not mess with such questions. The purpose of showing all the questions is that there are most of the questions which you have to solve, but a few questions whom we call the Gandhi Machli of CSAT, which actually create the wrong impression, should actually leave such questions. You should not waste a single moment of time on such questions which are so complex for you. Okay. So, I think that was over, and thank you so much guys for the discussion, and I hope that these videos, especially for the topic of number system, might be very useful for you guys. Okay. Thank you so much.